All right, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Just a couple, before we even start with roll, I just wanted to let everyone know that these broadcasts will be available to the general public on YouTube, our YouTube channel moving forward. So just so everyone's aware, these are all recorded and will be available for future viewing for anyone online. So that's something a little new that we're starting this month. Just to everybody have your microphones pointed towards your face, your mouth, so everybody can hear you or away, depending on how loud you speak. So if I start shouting, I'm probably really not shouting, but okay. So those are just a couple housekeeping items. And Kyle, if you want to go ahead with the roll, that would be great.
Price?
Yes.
Longstreet? Here. McCaffrey? Here. Belka?
Here.
Bush?
Here.
Greenlee?
Here.
Bill?
Here.
Allison?
Here.
Jim? Bill? Seth? Sorry, Paul.
Oh, that's better, Kylie.
Oh, it's going to be one of those meetings. Here we go. All right. Thank you. And then moving on to additions and deletions to the agenda, just a couple items here. You have a handout in front of you that will be added as 11C under new business for Ottawa Sands and Harbor Island. So we'll be discussing that. That's coming from the planning committee meeting yesterday. Also, we have item 11B, which is the presentation of the scientific survey results. We'll leave that where it is, but they are calling in at 3:30. So we might need to make an adjustment depending on where we are with the agenda at that time. So. All right, moving on. We have the minutes from the corrected minutes from the February 2024 meeting, as well as the March 20th commission meeting that were in the packet. If anyone would like to make, we just can go ahead with one motion for both of those.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
Thanks, Jane.
Support.
Okay, Joe, thanks. All right, any questions or comments? All right, I'm going to go ahead and repeat these moving forward so we have an easier way to record them in the minutes. We have a motion by Jane and second by Joe. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, minutes are approved for both months. All right, communications. It looks like we have a couple in this month's packet. And I would do, Jason, would you like to take those, or are
So
they just for
no action
information?
necessarily
Okay.
on either of them. We did talk about the North Ottawa Dunes proposal for mountain biking at the planning committee yesterday. Staff will work on a boilerplate response to have and consider at the planning committee again. And then the Dune trespass letter we received, just wanted to share it with the commissioners so they all have it. I had responded, so happy to answer any questions on those.
Okay. Any questions for Jason? All right, we'll just keep moving then to our first public comment session. Those looks like we have some folks joining us today, so welcome. For those of you in the audience who would like to make a public comment, please fill out a registration card. I have one right now. But if there's anyone additional, please see Kyle up here at the desk and she can get you one. And when you're called upon, please come forward to the podium and state your name and street address. And then you'll have 3 minutes to make your comments. And so it's really just meant for you to address the Parks Commission, but it won't necessarily be a back and forth dialogue at this time. So, all right. And those of you in attendance, hopefully if you would like to make a written public comment to the Parks Commission, there is a note on the YouTube channel where you can email in any public comments you'd like to submit in writing. So, all right, we'll go ahead and move forward with Melissa DeWitt.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for hearing my comment. I'm just going to read my little speech that I have right here. My name is Melissa DeWitt, and I serve as the Trails Chair and Director for the Michigan Horse Council. Earlier this month, I had the privilege to collaborate with the Ottawa County Parks and Recreation Commissioners and DNR management to discuss the Bass River and proposed route for the Item multi-user paved trail. The discussion was sparked because of proposed changes that would potentially negatively affect the equestrian riders. I am pleased to say that because of the discussion, we were shown that there will be a clear 30-foot path that will eliminate our concern. Additionally, discussion around safety and multi-use of these trails took place, and I am pleased at the outcome and how it will positively impact all parties involved. I am personally appreciative of the collaboration for all parties to ensure that these trails are functional for all trail users. I would personally like to thank the Ottawa County Parks and Rec and commissioners that were involved. It was a really fun day, so thank you for coming out and putting your horseshoes on. I look forward to continued conversations and learning together to continue to benefit these trails that provide a great opportunity for everyone. So thank you very much for all that came out, and it was a great day, great conversation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Wonderful. And anyone else? Okay. All right. We will keep moving then right into the staff reports, and we have director's report first. Jason, I think that was sent under separate email.
Did
for
send a little bit
everyone.
later on Friday.
Yeah.
So just a few things to point out. I did include an attachment that was Harbor Island. The city of Grand Haven is working on their community input, and there is a survey that is being conducted right now, and there will be, so that the deadline's April 21st, and then they will have several visioning sessions for the public, and then there will be a couple presentations of those plans. So please consider participating and go in and fill out the survey. So I think overall, again, our software, new reservation software is up and running, and I think it's been very positively received. So I included a link there. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to log in and set up an account and look around. Much more public friendly. So I'm excited. I will probably take this one off as completed off of my report. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yep, Allison, go
Thanks,
ahead.
Kelly.
Mhm.
Jason, do you know who Harbor Island is marketing to try to participate with the survey? Besides obviously us and maybe Grand
Well,
Haven area?
I think it's done by the city, so I would assume that it's done soliciting feedback from their residents, but it's a public survey.
Okay.
So
I wondered if perhaps you might send it to the full Board of Commissioners. That might be
Yes.
something they might be interested in seeing. So that was my, I think, first ask. I think that was it on that part of it.
okay, I will do
You're
that.
supposed to have their service to do the survey, I think, right? Or is that not necessarily true?
Could you repeat that?
The Board of Light and Power, aren't you supposed to be a customer of their, to do the survey?
This is through.
So this is Renew Harbor Island, which
Right.
is
Oh, okay,
different.
so that's the different, okay,
It's
sorry. I'm
different
thinking
than-
of a different one. Disregard that. My apologies.
Yeah, there's another one on their energy plan.
Yeah,
Grand
that's,
Haven's
I'm
energy
sorry,
plan.
that's what I was
Right.
confused.
Yeah, and that is for their
Yeah.
their service area.
Okay.
And that's
Sorry.
broader, quite a bit broader than just the city of
Yeah,
Grand
okay.
Haven. So
Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
Were you going to touch on the broadband part too, Jason?
we talked about it at some length yesterday in planning. We have two sites that have been identified, both Ottawa Sands and Grosse Park. We originally thought Grosse Park might be the simpler out of the two. During our kind of record search, we realized it has the same restrictions that from the grant. So we received a trust fund grant in the late 80s, I think it was, for
99. It was
99.
late,
Okay.
sooner than that, but yeah.
Okay. So, but it was the first major development project. It looks like it included a lot of the stuff that's there. But due to that, there's restrictions that we receive from the trust fund when either we buy a piece of property or then develop it. So we've reached out to our staff contacts that we work with at the trust fund to kind of talk through the process. If we have a piece of property that's encumbered with those restrictions, what are the steps to remove it or remove a portion of it? And then once we kind of have that figured out, we can evaluate these proposals as we go. So they don't make it easy necessarily, but depending if we're organized, right, the question really is, if we're organized up front, what's the timeline? And one of the questions, are there any penalties during that conversion process? So it's a competitive grant program. So as we submit and apply for grants annually, what, if any, penalties are there on those grants as we go through it? So trying to get as much information as we can and then share that with the commission to consider.
Okay. So you'll be following up more on Grosse Park as well as Ottawa Sands?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And you have any idea timeline on figuring out more of that, or not really?
Well,
Sounds like there's a
hopefully-
lot of steps.
Well, hopefully we can connect with our staff contacts, and the goal is to really define what those steps in that process is. So I know the consultant spoken with somebody. They don't work for the trust fund, I think, or they had previously been. So we want to connect with the staff we work with and work through that, understand what that process is. So hopefully it's kind of tough. We're at their mercy sometimes on these. I have a question about an acquisition and a property split right now, so we can finalize a purchase agreement. And so it's been a couple weeks. So
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully by May, we'll have a good understanding by the May Planning Committee. That would be my hope, and then follow up with it from there.
It's a great target.
Thanks, Jason.
Good. Anyone else? Questions? All right, we'll keep moving with the park operations report. Jason?
Hi, I just have a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. Just really that the operations staff has been spending most of their time with spring prep, getting ready, chlorinating wells, getting stuff cleaned up, even starting to mow now. But a lot of time has also been spent by our supervisors on seasonal hiring. We've been doing quite a few interviews and trying to get positions filled. A couple key positions, specifically the dog park at Grand Ravines. We've got a position filled there that we hadn't filled in 3 years. So that's pretty positive. And Jeremy's working through getting a lot of the lakeshore ones filled. So although not as fast as I was hoping, it's better than it has been in years past. So I would be happy to answer any questions about any of the other things in there, or not in there.
This is just because I have a friend who's a parent that asked me, what's the age for working in the parks?
Certain positions, 16, others you have to be 18.
Okay.
Any position that you report to one location and have to drive a county vehicle to another location has to be 18.
Okay.
But since 2020, we've evaluated all the positions and really tried to work with HR to make as many of them as
Gotcha.
open to
I will
minors as
refer- I
possible.
will let them know.
Yeah, no, there were, we, just a couple of years ago, we were saying you had to be 18 to work for us. And we had made some assumptions about things that we didn't think that 16-year-olds could do, where in fact they can. I mean, a 16-year-old can operate a riding lawnmower. They just can't load it on the trailer and drive it across county to another location.
Yep, go ahead.
Me
Alice.
again. Jason, I wondered, obviously you have a report every month on incident reports. And this time as I was reading it through, it just had me reflect a little bit. I wondered, my husband is the electrician and he has monthly electrical safety trainings due to the nature of his job. And I wondered, does Parks have something that certain staff have to go through for certain trainings to be proactive in with some of the work that you guys have to do, whether it's using equipment or whatnot, I wondered if there was certain proactive
Mhm.
trainings that you guys do.
So we do a chainsaw safety training for staff that use chainsaws, and then that's actually through. Well, there's two different ones depending on their level. That we have an OSHA one and there's a steel one. The steel one's more involved. And then aside from that, we have our equipment specialist who trains every staff person on every piece of equipment before they're checked off to use that piece of equipment. So you have to have been trained to use a piece of equipment on that piece of equipment. Now, as far as regular other types of safety training, vehicle training, things like that, we've not done that regularly, but we have looked into videos and other stuff that we could use when and if we were starting to have issues. It comes up a lot. Like a few years ago, we had a rash of vehicle damage, and my first reaction is, what are we going to do? This is, we've got all these vehicles being damaged. But the problem is when I went through the list, there wasn't a single one that was the same operator. Everybody just had to take their turn getting in a little fender bender, I guess. So, but we do look at that every time there is that stuff goes on.
And then our seasonal, we have operations has a orientation manual and then training for all of our seasonal employees who come in every year too.
Yeah, they have especially the lakeshore with they do a lot of the restroom cleaning and using various chemicals. We go through all the safety training with all that and PPE and how to keep themselves safe and bloodborne pathogens and all that type of stuff with all of them.
And then there's always the prescribed burn people. Neely loves that.
Right.
You have all kinds of trainings.
Yeah. Any other questions for Jason? Comments? All right, we'll keep moving with the planning and development report. Kurt?
Yeah, just maybe a couple things to add to the written report. I don't know if people have been paying attention to the Stearns Bayou Trail segment. The bridge over Stearns Bayou is closed. It will be closed for at least 4 more weeks. So that's, kind of a big deal. So we have been getting calls and people going, Kurt, when are you going to, even staff here has asked me, Kurt, when are you going to be able, it takes me 20 minutes more to get to Myers now, all those kind of things. But that project has been interesting. There have been various issues with utilities, especially in places where we didn't expect them or that were shown differently on the plan. So that area that was closed off is now opened up because we're still figuring out what we're going to do there. So, but the bridge is closed now for a while. So, but we're still hoping to be done by the end of summer sometime. Maybe not quite as early as we were hoping, but still later this year.
So the bridge work also includes, just to remind everybody, so we're adding a trail on the north side of the bridge, but it's also a full renovation that the road commission's undertaking at the same time. So,
and that's what's really closing it now. They actually have these joints that go across the whole road. They're rebuilding those, so you wouldn't want to try to even drive across. If you wanted to, you'd be stuck. So that's what's causing it right now. But soon there's this huge crane there that takes up all kinds of room. They'll be driving piles. So yeah, they're saying 4 to 6 weeks closed.
And the bridge will be done?
No, but then after that, they
Traffic will
will be
open
able
back
to
up.
open up one lane. And
Oh,
so the
okay.
plan is to have traffic lights on each side so that you can go one way for a while and then the other way for a while. So
Can you take a boat under it?
I think
Okay.
you still can. Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
Lots of boats going
Okay.
under.
Yeah.
That's good fishing.
Right, they do have barges and stuff
Okay.
under there, so there's equipment, but yeah, you can still use it.
We've seen a lot of boats come in and out. so.
Okay.
All right. Our 2 stair projects that have been on my list forever at Rosie Mound and at Kirk Park are officially done and approved by the township. So that is, yay, very good. So that's the ones to the Kirk Park dog beach, right? We've been advertising that's going to be open, so it is open. So that's great. And then just to comment, yeah, we've met a few of those folks out there last week. Some of you were there, but I think it was helpful that we understand each other a lot better than we did before. And I think there's good opportunities moving forward to make sure we talked about, signage, making trail etiquette kind of things. We've thought about that before, but I think we really kind of have a good feel for what needs to happen with that. So I'm hoping that we can work together moving forward and get them a trail system in the end that's maybe better than what they have now. So that's all good. So we're moving ahead with the engineering on that. As you know, I think we applied for a grant with the state to help with that. So it's likely that project will not happen until next year. So we have some time to work out some details. So anyway, that's my report unless there are questions.
Great. Yeah, go ahead.
I just
Lucas.
have one quick one.
Yeah.
When's the Stearns connector going to be completed? What was the
The
estimate?
official deadline is September.
September? Okay.
Yes, mid-September.
Awesome. Great.
So,
Thank you.
yes.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we'll just keep rolling with the community engagement report. Riley, is that you? Are you going to retain it for one more month?
I'm happy, even though I didn't submit the report, I'm happy to
Take credit.
Yeah, you know,
No, I'm
it's
just
all
kidding.
good. But if you do have any specific questions, obviously Riley can answer them. I'm back. I'm on day 3 of my
Nice.
return to work. Really excited. Everyone here was wonderful and made sure I could have a very restful leave. I did not get crazy questions or anything, so it was really nice. But really excited to be back. We are getting into school program season. The books look really, really busy, so hopefully we'll be serving many, many students this spring. Noelle and George were putting their heads together about doing all that when I left to come over here today. I know Coffee with the Birds, as always, was really popular this winter. We were super happy to be able to stream that. Hopefully, you guys were able to catch a couple of those. And I would just invite you to, please take a look at all the upcoming events with Earth Day coming up. We'd love to see you out doing a work day. And what's the other thing? Oh, yeah, as Jason mentioned, our software is kind of another big project that we're wrapping up. Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Great.
How's
Any
the baby?
He's so sweet. He's so sweet. He's a really, really nice.
That's good.
Really nice baby. He sleeps, which is cool. I like it.
Yep.
Nice. Good questions? Yep, Allison, go ahead.
Jessica and Riley, I just wanted to mention, I love the partnership that you guys have going on with CMH to increase outdoor time with the research that shows with outdoor and mental health. I think that's pretty cool. And just wondered if maybe once it's finalized, if you guys maybe could bring that back and share it with our Parks Commission once it's created. That'd be really neat to see.
We can definitely do that.
Good. Anyone else? All right, we will keep moving. Oops, wrong side. To the Natural Resources Management Report. Neely?
All right. Yeah, I don't have a ton to add except for you've definitely been making some progress. So now that it's spring, there is a lot going on. I'm sure everyone is aware that Ottawa Sands is progressing like pretty quickly. They're pretty much done with the shoreline grading at this point. So starting to work on dune creation and then sourcing plants and seeds for the final part of the restoration. There's also a lot of stewardship work going on. So garlic mustard season, everybody's favorite time of year.
Ooh.
But and the nice thing is we get to get out and look at all the spring ephemerals, right? So along those lines, if anybody wants to get out and do some work days, Friday work days are always an option. We also have Earth Day work days coming up. So we have work days at 6 different parks on Sunday and Monday, so the 21st and the 22nd. They're volunteer-led work days, but there will be staff at most of those work days. And it's mostly garlic mustard pulling and a little bit of litter pickup. And then also we have a vernal pool patrol in-person training on the 28th, starting at the Nature Center if anyone's interested. You can find that on our website. And I think that's about it, unless there's any questions.
Great. Any questions for Neely? Anybody? All right, we will keep going with the development report. Glenn?
We had a pretty good March. As you can see, all of our numbers compare favorably with prior years. The one exception to that might be considered our individual gift count for March of 24 versus March of 23. But, by and large, we're pretty much on par. So it was a good month for us. We have secured $9,000 in support of our health and wellness programs, which consists of our Step It Up walking program, as well as the Grand Explorers Trail Race. Those sponsors are Priority Health, AAA Storage, and Night Watch, and we want to thank all of them publicly for their very generous support. We mentioned this last meeting that we hosted the planned giving luncheon in March, but it was technically in March, so I went ahead and included it. We had 10 volunteers who were interested in learning about bequests and other estate planning gifts, and so they attended. It was well received. We met with the Wegge Foundation as well as the Grand Haven Area Community Foundation in March, and presented both an update on the Grand River Greenway project, as well as introduced the Rosie Mound project. Our reports were well received, and we were invited to come forward and discuss with them draft proposals for Rosie Mound. So we'll be having those ongoing conversations. And then we met. We had a phone conversation with the Consumers Energy Foundation to brief them on Rosie Mound, and we'll be following up with them later again this month. So it was a productive month in terms of meetings. So,
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Great, thanks, Glenn.
any
Any-
questions
yeah.
that I can answer?
No?
Okay.
All right, great. Thank you. We will keep going with the strategic plan progress report. Jason, is that?
Yep. So, the couple right upcoming things tomorrow. Of course, hopefully everybody's has it on their calendar to participate in the strategy lab. So we're excited about that. Our consultants Crow sent out some information ahead of time. So, we staff got that at the same time. So we'll be participating as participants tomorrow. So the one thing that's worth pointing out, we've talked about our visitation data. We've really been digging into the placer data. I think, and Aaron can mention it when he comes down later, but I think our average visitation last year was up over 1.5 million visitors. So it's just incredible to be able to see the trends and see where the peaks were during COVID, and it dropped back down and it's coming back up. So we're really kind of digging into that. And that will help then feed the strategic plan as well as the kind of economic impact component of that, because it can then determine who's traveled, how far to come and how long do they stay in the park. So happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, go
Kurt,
ahead.
anything else you want to? Or no?
Quick question. How is that Placer app or whatever able to go back to 2017? What kind of data are they pulling from?
So I think they have multiple sources, and it's all randomized. But they essentially use your cell phones. So, and the Placer has agreements with multiple applications you have and the platforms, and then they have the GPS locating information. So that then gets compiled.
Okay.
Yes. So it's all from cell phone data.
Any other questions?
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Everyone
Okay,
knows.
Why should it be? I'm sorry. This is one of those things that really irks me. It shouldn't be scary. If you're willing to have a phone and live by it,
the telephone companies have to know who you are. They knew where you lived before. They knew how to get to your landline before. Yeah, if you don't like it, throw it away.
Well,
I'm
I,
sorry.
Leave it
I was
home.
going to say, Linda, I actually do throw off their data because I don't carry my cell
I
phone
do.
all the time.
There are certain apps that I do not allow to know where I am. Okay, and it's but it lets me do that. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
right.
to know where I
No,
am.
I'm kind of kidding, but
Yeah, I know. It's just,
Sorry.
that's okay.
I don't have a chip in
All
me
right.
either. I have
But
to
it's
be
really,
honest.
I mean, what's really exciting is to be able to
It's great
analyze,
data.
you know, where people are coming from, what parks they're going to, to see the trends. So we'll work internally on, a draft 1 or 2 page report that we'll start including. We'll refine that and discuss it with the commission, but it's really fascinating.
Is it just
So
like a giant database essentially then? Yeah.
Aaron
that's
can,
the-
I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
yeah, so they're taking the cell phone data and then you can define this zone, right? You actually
Right.
do it on a map. You do a square on a map, and anytime their data shows that it went in that zone,
They had-
Yeah.
Remember when
records
Kurt
it.
told us, Aaron told us during COVID,
Yeah.
how much our parks were being used. It was one of those services that they could tell.
Yeah, so that was, just so you know, we were using a different service
Right.
before called Streetlight, which was way better than anything we've had before. This is, I don't know, what you'd say light years ahead of that, even more accurate, more fine detail.
This one tells us how many people went to Captain Sunday after they left Tunnel Park.
Right.
Yeah. Great. So is Probalski online? Okay, great. Does anyone else have any, or Jason, was that anything else
Nope,
to
that's-
add?
happy
Okay.
to answer any questions.
Okay. All right. Okay, we will temporarily put that on hold with the committee reports and circle back, but we will move to item 11B right now, which is a presentation on the scientific survey results. And do we have Adam? That doesn't look like Adam on the line, but maybe it is with a different picture.
I am here.
Oh,
as
there we
well.
go. Okay.
Michael and Elise are here as well. Please take the lead on this and be available, as needed.
Okay, I will take it away. Thank you, Adam. I'm Michael McLaughlin, everyone. I'm the research director here at Probalski Research. So let me share. Oh, I'm disabled from screen sharing. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to share my screen right now. Is there maybe a setting on your end you guys can change?
I'm sure there is. Yeah. Let me just figure that out here.
True. Yeah, worst comes to worst.
Okay, go ahead and try it again.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Okay.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Okay. Everyone see that?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So as Adam said, we conducted a scientific survey amongst Ottawa County residents and voters last month. Survey ran for 5 days. We collected our responses using a multi-mode approach, which included telephone and online responses via landlines, mobile lines, email, and text messages. And then we collected 400 responses of Ottawa County voters and non-voters. Mostly because your county is obviously very politically engaged to a certain extent. Our registered voters, about 95%. So the other 5% are what we consider non-voters. That leads to a margin of error plus or minus 5%. And 98% of your respondents chose English to respond, and the other 2%, so about 8 people, chose Spanish. Okay, so we're gonna get into the results. So 32% get most of their information about Ottawa parks online, which I'm sure is no surprise to you all. That just seems to be the way that things have shifted. And if you factor in social media, Facebook, all that other stuff, it's half. 2/3 use Facebook regularly. Again, not surprising. We typically see this bunching up at the top here of Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as the top social media websites used. I would advise you, if you're not already, to kind of up those social media platform usage, because that's where your voters and residents live. And again, of those respondents, 65% use social media at least once a day. So 2/3. 87% have visited Ottawa County parks or open spaces in the past year. So that is a very large number, so that you have a outdoor engaged community. And among those 87%, so mostly everyone, that 10% have visited Tunnel Park. And I've looked, I am now jealous of that 10% because that is a gorgeous park. But as you can see, there's equal distribution amongst most others. And then 85% rate the job being done by the Ottawa County Parks and Recreation Commission as excellent or good. And we would like to point out that this is not an academic exercise. This is not 85, that's a B. 85% is incredible. That is, we don't agree on anything in America anywhere. So 85% thinking you all are doing an excellent or good job is a fantastic number. So you should be commended for that. And among those who think you're doing not a great job, so 2%. So again, very small number, 8 people. So about 4 of them think that you're doing a poor job on accessible routes and maintenance. But again, very small percentage. So 65% of your respondents were not aware that there's currently a special millage dedicated to Ottawa County Parks. I don't know if there's a way to increase visibility on that, but it's just a number for you all. However, 84% support the current parks millage. So that's probably a very, very good news, right? It's obviously it's $25 per year, so it's something that they're not even maybe aware of, but they do support it. So then we ask about the initial vote of the dedicated millage renewal, and 81% vote yes. So a great number to renew. And among those who vote yes to renew, 59% would say because they believe outdoor recreation is helpful to their health and everything else. This is a great number, and these are the reasons why. Among the small percentage that voted no, they say, typical things, taxes are already too high, money mismanagement, things of that nature. Again, small numbers. This is, 50 people. 77% support an increased millage focused on the protection of and management of the county's most sensitive natural resources. So again, very great for you. 54% support a cost recovery initiative to fund the operations and maintenance of specialty facilities. So we then ask a follow-up here, what among the people who the 54% who said yes, what would they support it on? And a lot of them said dog parks, ski trails, bike paths, hiking paths. So typical outdoorsy Michigander things. Okay, now this is a slightly different way of looking at our data here. So 87% agree that the Parks Commission should protect additional land and natural spaces. So that 87% there is all respondents of the 400. And then these little donuts to the side here, the one in the upper right, or depending on where you're seeing it, are the people who initially voted no on the millage renewal, and the bottom one, the people who voted unsure on the renewal. So again, both of these are relatively small numbers, but this is how these messages might have moved them a little bit on these issues. 82% agree that the Parks Commission should provide leadership in completing a countywide regional multi-use trail system. 84% agree that the Parks Commission should provide leadership dedicated to resources for significant habitat restoration and green infrastructure. Again, good. 84% agree that the Parks Commission should provide community-wide leadership in engaging the public to experience nature. These are all fairly of the same percentage, and they're all very good numbers. 88% agree that the Parks Commission should provide community-wide leadership in ensuring that students get exposure to the outdoors. So yes, we want to get our younger folks engaged outside and appreciating open spaces and what Michigan has to offer. 71% agree that the Parks Commission should help finance the parks by providing revenue generating facilities. So these are anything where you talk about anything with revenue, it's good to have a high number, right? 52% disagree that the Parks Commission should dictate resources to provide high-quality venues suitable for weddings or other formal events. This is one of those where it just might not connect to everyone because it might not be something that they're directly looking at, so that might explain the lower number of support. 52% agree with the statement that the Parks Commission should provide overnight camping facilities that can accommodate RVs. 56% agree that the Parks Commission should provide additional unique experience-based camping that includes facilities with yurts, tree houses, tents, all that stuff on the Ottawa sands. And among all those agree, disagree statements, there are a lot of strong agreement, which is good because that means that those people, they're going to really support that regardless. So 58% really support protecting additional land and natural resources for conservation. So that obviously should be your biggest statement going forward. Mountain bike trails and dog parks are the top recreational programming opportunities that the commission currently provides too many of. Again, relatively small numbers here, 8% and 8% respectively. And again, that's another thing that everyone might not mountain bike, everyone might not have a dog, so they might just be a little bit personal bias here. Hiking trails and canoeing kayaking sites are the recreational and programming opportunities that the commission provides too few of. And if they could actually, pick something for you all to offer more of, they say accessible trails. So people, that's something we see with almost every survey. People like trails and open space. They want to get out and move. Okay, some more agree, disagree statements here. 78% agree with the statement that the Ottawa Parks Commission should acquire land or easement for trails and bike paths. 81% agree that the Parks Commission should acquire land or easements to protect unique environmental areas such as wetlands, sand dunes, mature woodlands, and wildlife areas. 71% agree that the Parks Commission should acquire property for habitat restoration or green infrastructure. 69% agree that the Parks Commission should acquire property in the areas of the county with few natural resource-based parks or recreational facilities. 66% agree that the Parks Commission should acquire historic sites. And here again is a summation of the degrees of agreement. So unique environmental areas such as wetlands is the type of acquired land with the highest intensity. So people are really interested in that versus relative to the other things mentioned. So we then ask again, our whole, well, not the whole point of the survey, but the main crux of the survey is the millage renewal, right? And after hearing all the arguments, all the pros, all the cons, your support went up, right? From our initial 81% to now 83% support the dedicated Parks and Rec millage renewal. And again, we asked if you support the renewal, why? And most people, not most, but 16% say parks are beneficial, just pro parks all around. And amongst those who said voted no against the renewal, they say, again, taxes are already too high, we're already overtaxed. Nothing unexpected. And then we asked a lead into a potential future development for you all. Would they support or oppose an increased millage that would focus on the protection and management of the county's most sensitive natural resources? So upping that millage from $25 a year to what have you, and 76% support that increased renewal. So that is really good going forward if you do decide to increase the millage rate. And then here are your demographics of respondents, which we talked about with party preference and voter type, and age, ethnicity, gender, children, home, years of residency, all that. And then one more page, household income, education level, all your municipalities, all your county commissioner districts, and whether or not these respondents were hunting and fishing license holders. Any questions?
Yeah, that's good.
Give us a second here. I'm sure you
Sure.
might have one or two. I can't believe we. So remember, this is feeding in to our strategic planning. So there have been several historical surveys done that correlate with the millage renewal. So we're doing the strategic plan, then we'll roll into a millage renewal. So this is a little premature for renewal in 26, but it'll feed directly into our strategic planning for the future. So.
Maybe a quick question about the way the questions were asked. For those categories that, we have all the percentages, were those open-ended questions, or did you provide a list of options for people to respond to? So for example, what they wanted more of or less of?
Oh, that was a list-based question, yes.
Okay.
But the ones after the initial vote and the informed vote for the yes, no, those were open-ended. So they were able to then say whatever they wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, it is good data.
Do you have anything, I'm assuming it was supposed to be random, but the demographics of the survey takers versus the demographics of the county as a whole, do you have any idea if that was very close?
So
or-
we use a stratified random sample. So we matched your demographics of largely your voter base, right? Because 95% of your residents are voters. So those are pretty much dead on to your composition of your voters.
Okay.
And can you highlight a little bit, some of them were done by phone and some of them were done electronically? Kind of that process?
Yes. So this falls into our kind of our typical where most people live now. 2/3 were done online, so either via email or text message, and then the other third were conducted mainly through mobile calls, and then 34% of that third were via landline. So there's still a benefit to using landline random digit dialing because we didn't pick up 35, 40 responses there, which is good.
Just out of curiosity, how many did you have to start to get 400 that were completed? Or like how many attempts?
Oh, we kind of have about a 27% completion rate. So you can kind of extrapolate that out if you do the math. There are some people who say thanks but no thanks. But we're pretty efficient at getting completes. As you can see, I mean, we were in the field for under a week and we got the 400 completes. So pretty quick overall.
Yeah, it's good.
Asking those questions, are the demographic questions at the end of your presentation or your survey, or are they in?
So
how do you do that?
Yes, they are at the end. But some of them we don't ask party preference because we know that from the voter file, right? Like when we buy our sample, we then know what their registered political party is, what their age is. We know that we do ask ethnicity. We ask years of residency, household type, education level, income, and things of that sort. But certain things we do know from the sample itself.
Thanks.
I just had one observation for the group here. The children in the home is almost 70% of the respondents. I don't really think that necessarily reflects the county as a whole. I think we have a lot more families than that. But the good news is folks are familiar with the county because the 10 years plus years of residency is over 70%. So the familiarity of our system is well known. And it seems like generally a great opinion of what is being offered. Any sense on where folks feel the condition of our infrastructure is, our park infrastructure, our trails? And I didn't see if that was a question.
I mean, just going by the overall job they think you're doing, and even there's 2% who think you're doing a poor job. So out of 400 responses, when it's 8 people that think you're doing a poor job, that's a pretty great number. But out of those 8 responses, so take them for what they're worth, they reference accessible parking, some poor maintenance, high costs, and they wish that other lands were being better preserved. But they're not taking a ton of issue with you, that's for sure.
I challenge anybody to look at another park system that has as much that Ottawa County has and compare it in condition. And I think most people would find that we are head and tails above everybody else in that way.
I mean, it sold me on the county as a whole. I mean, I did one of my masters at University of Detroit, and I now realize I was on the wrong side of Michigan.
Yeah.
So you're moving to Ottawa County soon? Is that what
I'm a Pennsylvanian, but you know what? You're selling me.
You can work remotely, right?
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like, we'll see if what Adam says.
Yeah, Adam encourages remote work. So yeah, I think actually having someone in the Midwest might be to our benefit.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Michael.
Great, thank you all so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That was helpful.
I think in general, from my perspective, somebody asked me, were you surprised by anything? And I think, anecdotally, as we kind of ask some of these questions and we work on the strategic plan and we have some of these focus areas we think we can expand on in the future, it was really surprising to see them in this format that the public overwhelmingly sees that as our role too. So it's really, reassuring to see that. So
yeah, you have a lot to be proud of and a lot to build off of via these results for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was excellent. I guess we will jump back into our order here and go back to the committee reports and start with the executive committee. We met last week, just pretty brief. It was the same day as the eclipse. So,
The
we
highlight
were
was
meeting outside with our glasses on. But we were talking about the agenda. So focused on the agenda items, just talked a little bit about the strategic plan, upcoming dates, the scientific survey, I think was just in at that time. We were going over closed session format and what we needed to do there at our future commission meetings. And then just talked a little bit about the upcoming, which has already occurred now, the onsite, the Bass River meeting with the equestrian folks that occurred last week or the week before. So that was about it. So, and the eclipse was really neat, and we shared glasses because 2 of us didn't get it, or 3 of us. Yeah, Linda saved us with extras. So, all right, we will move on to the Community Engagement Committee report. Jane?
Yeah, so quite a few of these things we've addressed or will address in today's agenda. The committee did get a advanced look at the the scientific survey results that we just saw. And we did talk about the pros and cons of maintaining the meetings on YouTube for people to reference after the fact. So it will be nice to see if maybe we get any more questions or comments from people who view it after the fact. So we had a good discussion about that. Staff has developed an internal frequently asked questions document about the closing of Ottawa Sands. That's a really popular park, and some residents have had questions about that. So staff put together a document that will guide the response to that. So, and maybe you noticed, hopefully, on Riley and Jess's report, the upcoming events pages. So I know we talked about compiling in one place information about upcoming events and the programs and activities, 2-page programs and activities document that staff put together does that. So you'll see it lists programming as well as things like the Art for the Parks event, the Grand Explorers Trail Race, and those types of things. So we all thought that looked really nice. That pretty much did it.
I will say the closing of Ottawa Sands has worked better than I think we thought or maybe hoped. There's been very few people entering the park without permission. At least from all the contractors, they have not had anybody in there. And I don't think we've really had too many complaints either, right, Jason? Maybe a couple questions, but it's all good.
Comments online about when is it reopening, but not getting the regular influx of complaints about it being closed that I was thinking we were going to get.
Great. Any other questions for Jane? All right, we will keep going. Oh, Jane, you got the foundation update as well?
Yeah, just real quick, the foundation board hasn't met since our last meeting, but just a quick reminder, Art for the Parks is a week from Saturday. And if you do plan to go, I would encourage you to go online ahead of time and make your $10 donation online, and that will get you in the door faster. You won't have to stand in line with actual money or whatever. So should be a really great event. If you're in the market for some artwork, you will find something for everyone.
And is it, so it's before Mother's Day as well? So,
It is before
right,
Mother's
it's
Day.
a
And Father's
great
Day.
Yeah, good
opportunity
idea.
to pick up something for all those mothers out there.
Is that a note to self, Jason?
So that's what we did last year.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Good. And then the foundation breakfast and lunch are, like if anyone's still interested, they could still sign up for a
Absolutely, yeah.
table.
Breakfast and lunch is June 20th, I believe. And yeah, if you're interested in attending and or hosting a table, please let me or Angela know.
Are those postcards still, are they available? Yeah, or like the
Yeah,
notices?
Yeah, I
They're-
don't know if there are physical postcards,
But
there's
electronic?
the little, yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
want me to send those around?
Well, sure, I can ask Angela, but I was just wondering if they were ready
Oh,
or
yeah.
done. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
for sure.
okay. Good. Any other questions for Jane?
Pardon me.
All right. All right, the planning committee did meet just yesterday, but we'll have those minutes and a summary next month, since we just met yesterday, so. Yeah, all right, so we will just we don't have any old business today, so we'll move on to new business. And the first item up is the Bend Area Expansion Phase 3 grant, and this is just changing the date. It's just a motion to change the date of the grant from May 30th to November 30th, correct, Jason? So-
We have,
okay.
Yep, we're just being proactive, making sure that we can close on the property in time. I think we have the broad components and terms and conditions mapped out, so.
Yeah, so if we have a motion, someone would like to suggest the motion? As
So
written?
moved.
Okay, thanks, Linda.
Support.
All right. All right, any other questions? Discussion on that item? Okay, we have a motion by Linda, seconded by Lucas. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Okay, and then we will go on. We've done 11B already with the scientific survey, and we'll keep going to 11C, which is the item you have on the blue paper in front of you on the Ottawa Sands Harbor Island Coastal Resiliency Project, or Coastal Resilience Project. So Lucas, you and the planning committee reviewed this or discussed this yesterday. So I don't know if we want a brief discussion or a brief presentation by Kurt first. Would you like that? Or did you want
I
to make
mean,
the motion?
I guess, sure, that sounds great.
Okay.
All right,
Since
yeah,
it's
I'll try to
something.
summarize because there's quite a bit of narrative about the whole process, but let me just try to cut to the quick of what this is. We received a $275,000 grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Federation to look at natural enhancements to both Ottawa Sands and Harbor Island. Ottawa Sands, it includes a big wetland area. This is all part of the master plan, a big wetland, I don't know if you call it a restoration or creation area in the middle of the park. And it also is looking at the shoreline along the entire area of the park. So we're looking at improvements to the habitat using natural means as much as possible. We also included Harbor Island in this because we're participating in the whole Renew Harbor Island process. And we thought this was one really good way that we could be involved in that and help them in the decision-making process, because this will be a complete inventory and analysis of what is happening on Harbor Island in terms of the natural features, and then looking at recommendations for what could be done moving forward. Really, no matter what the process ends up, they're working at a process to figure out what they want to do, but these recommendations would fit into that. So anyway, so we got this grant. We went out for proposals. Last month, we got 5. I would say all of them were good. 2 of them were really excellent, and 2 of them were still very good. And we are recommending that we go with the project or the proposal from GEI, who is a consultant we've used a lot before, and they are actually working on the site now on the restoration work we're doing around the lake and other places. They surprised us by teaming up with Edgewater Resources, who is the consultant who did our marina in Holland. But the way that's important is they will be looking at the shoreline where the big breasting dolphins are. And the master plan has, improvements to that area, to the dolphins themselves, to the shoreline, and looking at having courtesy docks there, right? So people could actually visit the park by boat. So super good team. We have experience with the team members, so that's great. They had a really good proposal, and their fee just happened to be a little lower than everybody else's, and so that we can get more out of it in the end. So we are recommending that we go with that proposal and get them going. Any questions?
Well, I guess we need a motion before there's
need a motion.
questions, or if anyone would like to make a motion.
So moved as written.
Okay,
Support.
okay. Thanks, Joe. Okay, now we can take questions, comments.
Quick question. So the additional $125,000, if that's spent then on Ottawa Sands at a future date, is that coming from the insurance authority? Is that?
No, we just put this in there so that we can use that in the future if we don't have more funding than the 275,000, but this would be to take the plans even further. So actually doing construction plans for whatever we decide to do. The 274,864 does include final plans for the wetland improvements at Ottawa Sands. So that's the part that we kind of got extra. We didn't ask for that, but they are including that in their proposal.
Okay.
But the 124,950 is another addition that's beyond what we asked for. It's beyond what the grant requested, but we like to put it in here so that we don't have to go back out and go through this process again. If we get funding for that, we can just proceed.
So that would be based on obtaining that funding?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to spend the 275.
Right.
This extra would, yeah. And there is a chance, right? One of the reasons we wanted to do this is that we'll take our planning to a level where you can show to potential funders that this is what you really think you can do and then benefits. So.
Any other questions? Items for discussion? All right, we have a motion by Lucas, seconded by Joe. So we'll go ahead and put it to a vote. I will be abstaining from this vote. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries.
So I did, prior to the meeting, it was just not long before the meeting, I sent out an email with this as well as the RFP, and so the public RFP as well as the proposal received from the consultant. So you all should have that. If there are any questions on any of that information, let us know.
All right, and that brings us to the second public comment session. Was there any other cards? Anyone else who would like to make public comment today? No? All right. Well, thank you for attending. It's nice to see everybody in the audience.
Gave you a short meeting too.
What's that? Yeah,
Glad
right?
we gave you a
That's
short
true.
meeting.
Good point, good point. That doesn't happen all the time, does it? All right, we'll start with Commissioner's prerogative. We'll start on this end. Bruce, you have anything?
Well, a confession to make. I don't know if I can attend tomorrow to the strategy lab. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I guess I'm a little bit.
We can connect.
Yeah, we can talk about
I'll
it
connect
after
with
the
you
meeting.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
I didn't make
problem.
plans on having that day off, and
Okay.
it's
No.
late in the day to make that decision. But
Okay,
okay, yeah,
No
if you help
problem.
me with that, that'd be great.
okay. Yep. Roger?
I'm good.
Okay. All right,
Me too.
Lucas? Yeah, Linda?
I just would like just to think for a moment, Jim Holtfer passed away. And Jim was on this commission when I first came on in 2020. And what a really nice man and a really helpful man. And he scared me a little bit from the beginning, but he was a really great guy and an amazing and well-respected commissioner for all those years. So I just keep his family in your prayers.
Yeah, that was good, Linda. I'll second that. And then also just, it's been mentioned a couple times, but don't forget Earth Day volunteering. It's great time to get outside on Sunday, Monday. I'll be at Pigeon Creek on Sunday in case
Me
anybody.
too.
Yeah? Oh, all right. Pulling some garlic mustard, baby.
I just signed up on my new account
Yeah,
today,
that's right.
so-
Me too. All right. Good deal. All right, Jane?
Real quick, I'd just like to recognize and welcome Dennis Behrens, who's in the audience. Hi, Dennis. Dennis is on the Parks Board for Robinson Township. And
Oh,
Robinson is currently renewing and adding to its park plan. So glad you're here, Dennis.
Welcome. Good deal. Joe?
I got nothing.
All right, Paul?
Nothing from me.
Allison?
Nothing today.
Okay. Oh, one thing I did forget, I went out on Monday to Grand Ravines. If you guys haven't seen the spring ephemerals, I don't know if I just haven't timed it perfectly out there before, but that is crazy, the amount of flowers coming up in the woodlands out there. It's magical, so. Is it? Okay, good to know.
So is
Good to know.
Gross Park is really
Really?
good too.
Okay, all of them.
Those are our primo spots,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, good to know.
they're
That's
really
to
all
share.
good. It's worth going up
Yeah,
there.
because sometimes you don't know about timing, so I'm like, oh, okay. I
You didn't
like
miss
that.
it yet. The trilliums are not out yet.
Yeah.
They're gross, so.
Okay,
No.
okay. That's good,
Morels?
good to know. Yeah, Morels.
I've seen people posting pictures around sabotage.
Oh,
They're
it's
around.
coming.
Anybody want to let me know the spots?
Yeah.
To find the morels?
Right.
I'm a transplant. Nobody's willing to take me with them on their, when they go, right?
I'll help you out.
It's like the fishing spot.
That's right. That's right.
All right, we do have a couple commissioners, I think, that have to take off at 4:30, so we'll just go ahead and look for a motion to move into closed session.
So moved.
All right, thanks, Allison. All right,
Even though I don't want to.
yeah, no, okay. You don't want to go into closed session?